Welcome to my first video ever. This video will be about the video gaming industry lightly. I plan on making a series out of this, where I address some issues or things in general, which in my mind aren't right. To set it off low, let's start with a rather harmless topic: the indie games. Indie games have been around for many years now, but lately there is a noticeable trend in how this, let's call it, branch of the video game industry is evolving. For those who don't know what indie games are made by an independent, mostly small studio, which develops and publishes their games completely on their own. Most AAA titles today get developed by one studio and then released by another company, like Battlefield 1 with DICE as its developer and EA as its publisher, which I will address in a later video as well. The trend I mentioned before is what I call the third rush of half-baked video games. Let me explain what I mean with that. As of today, there is an uncountable amount of unfinished indie games which get way too far in the video game industry. Video games used to take up a very long development time, and some still do, but now everything feels just rushed and unfinished. There are some indie games which really are worth giving a shot, but these are the minority compared to all the indie games released or greenlit alone on Steam every day, which aren't really what you could call a game. And I kind of understand why, and I kind of feel sick and sad about it. My theory why most indie games feel unfinished or are unfinished, see early access, but still released, isn't always that developer need money or want their game tested. They just want to be the first to jump on a bandwagon of game genres and be the first to release this kind of game. For example, a few years ago, when DayZ still was a mod, no one really bothered making a massive multiplayer zombie permadeath survival game. The DayZ mod just grew larger and larger. But the moment they announced they are making a standalone version of this mod, it seemed to have kicked off a huge wave of just utter nonsense in the video gaming industry. Games like The War Z, or as it's called today, Infestation Survivor Stories, and so on, just popped out of nowhere, and this whole new crappy survival era was born. Maybe I'm a little too narrow-minded, but I feel like DayZ kicked this trend off by being the worst example for this branch of games itself. For DayZ, I was really excited. I played the game's alpha at the Gamescom in 2013, I think, and I was really hyped. It felt fresh back then with new mechanics, although I only had like 10 minutes time to experience the weapon handling and the item system. From 2013 to 2017, there have been a lot of changes to this game, but it's still rather in an unplayable state, to be fair. But DayZ is not the topic of this video. DayZ got pretty big and many people bought the early access version of it when it kicked off on Steam, and many developers wanted to get the same kind of success. So everyone developed at an incredibly fast pace. All these crappy indie survival games. Don't get me wrong, I personally have some survival games which aren't fully released, but I still enjoy playing, like Ark or DayZ itself. And it kind of makes me angry that big platforms like Steam had to take steps like refunds to counter these crappy games which aren't fully developed. What I'm also currently experiencing is that the survival games hype is slowly fading away, and the new hype some of the developer are jumping onto is the games set in space hype. Like the previous hype, there is also a fire starter, and in this case, it's in my opinion Star Citizen. Many developers saw the revenue the Kickstarter for this game made, and they wanted something of this massive pile of potential money. So many games released onto Steam Early Access are set in space and their amount is growing daily. Just check the Steam front page, they're everywhere. And since I personally love space games, I'd hate to see them go to shit just because some developers want to release the next big space game as soon as possible, being yet another negative influence to the genre of games. Well, for my last words, to wrap this video up, if any planning to be indie developer watches this, like this might be a possibility, right? Please take your time to finish a game and to test it, and please try not to hurt the image of a certain kind of games by releasing yet another half-baked, bug-infested game. If you agree with any of this or any point I brought up in the video, it would be nice of you to leave a like on that video and maybe subscribe.